Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining me on the record.
It's a pleasure, and Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to all people watching this interview. And let's hope it could be a good year for the world, and for Lebanon specifically. We need it.
Tell me this, how do you see the economy in 2026?
Well, we are doing our best to have growth. We have presented a budget, a balanced budget to the Parliament, should be approved by maximum end of January. And we are working a lot on really improving revenues in all aspects, in customs and taxation, rebuilding all the public institutions. Our main objective is to show seriousness in really implementing all what's necessary to get Lebanon back on track, to become a viable state, to become a country that's really respecting all international rules. And really, of course, one of the important things we're doing is really to get Lebanon out of the gray list, out of the cash economy.
When you hear U.S. officials say that Lebanon is a failed state, are they wrong?
Well, I wouldn't say completely failed, but I would say Lebanon had a very, very difficult times in the past few years, and we want to get it back on track, as I said.
Yeah. Walk me through, just in terms of tourism revenues, 2025, a pretty good year for Lebanon. What's your expectation for next year?
Well, we are trying to make it better. I mean, we had a good season for the new year. It's not enough. It's of course, you come here, you see hotels are fully booked. That's for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. It's not enough. We want Lebanon. Lebanon has a lot more to offer. And we really, what's very important, other than all the reforms we are doing, is actually, reforms and stability will make things much better. So that's why Lebanon and the government and the president and everybody else is working on getting to a state of stability, because you see, the perception is not still that perfect. You see, people like you have been here before who have Lebanese friends would come, but we don't have that tourism as such that we really need to really say we are a touristic country in force.
Who do you want to be in Lebanon? More people from the Gulf?
Gulf and from Europe, from everywhere, I mean, Lebanon would love to be open to all nationalities. But yeah, because of proximity, Gulf is very important. Saudi Arabia is important. We had a lot of people from Egypt this year, Jordan, Syria, Iraq. I mean, we believe very much in that connectivity to the region is very important for Lebanon, not only for tourism, for all economic activity. I mean, this corridor, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and the Gulf. I mean, Syria is our access to all this area. is very important for this corridor to really regain stability and start really building on all the opportunities that exist, you see.
Do you see the new Syrian government helping that?
Yeah, they've been doing well. We have good relationship. I've received here in my office the Minister of Finance in Syria. We're talking about, how to cooperate. On the presidential level, they have been meeting. On the government level, also meetings are taking place. And you see people, sometimes ask, are you worried about Syria becoming a competitor? And I say, I always pray for that, because you see, I mean, a stable Syria, a prosperous Syria is also going to be helping Lebanon to become stable and prosperous as well.
When I speak to Lebanese officials, they tell me that Hezbollah today, in terms of their military might, has been degraded to about 40% of what it was before 2024. Can you tell me, in terms of their financials, how degraded they are today?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the state. I don't know about any party, what state of affairs they have financially.
But in terms of money flows, et cetera, have you seen a difference?
What we have been doing ourselves is actually working on limiting the cash economy. This is our objective. Because, as I said, I mean, we are on a gray list and we don't want to be sleepwalking to a black list.
Venezuela has been a major transit point for Hezbollah funding. Have you seen any indication so far that it's had an impact on Lebanon?
It is a weekend.
Weekend moves pretty fast.
I mean, I doubt if there'd be any. But I really don't know. I mean, I'm not.
But you anticipate you'll see any change?
I don't expect I don't think, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually.
Tell me about this cash economy, because obviously without fresh dollars coming in, it's more difficult to operate a military within a military, and I'm talking about Hezbollah. In your mind, are we in a better position in Lebanon than we were a year ago?
Definitely we have less...
illicit funds coming in.
Definitely.
Tell me this. You have the GAP law now going through Parliament. How quickly do you think that we'll see that become a law?
Well, it all depends on Parliament. I mean, what we have done...
Do you have the support?
First of all, they always say the first thing you do is recognize
that you have the problem.
You have the problem.
Yeah.
And then start finding solutions. And unfortunately, Lebanon has a trilemma of problems, you see. I think it's not many countries pass through that. We have a problem in the banking system, problem in the central bank, and in the state also default. And so all of these exist.
Yes.
And unless we realize and start finding practical solutions, realistic solutions, and this law that, or it's not a law yet, it's a draft of a law that has been sent to Parliament, has put these things on the table and said, we think this could help. You see, we are looking at depositors, banks, Bank of Lebanon or Central Bank, and the state, and the referee is the IMF. So we have to really find, nobody is realistically is going to get...
You're proposing $100,000 US to depositors,
The
correct?
small depositors.
The small depositors
are 84% of the depositors are those below 100,000.
Yeah.
One of the important things in our negotiations with the IMF is that you have to give priority to protecting small depositors.
What about the Lebanese pound depositors?
The Lebanese pound depositors, I mean, this is another subject because we are talking about depositors who had a foreign currency. That one could be addressed. I mean, you see, the issue, all the issues are open for discussion. We did what we could, what we thought is possible. Like once we go to Parliament, there's going to be discussion. What we did is the first phase of a process. So Parliament is the final decision maker. And after Parliament, also there's another decision maker, who is the President of the Republic, who can send it back if it is missing things or if he thinks it's not, you know, things are not justified. He could send it back to Parliament to have another look at it.
That $100,000, though, how do you pay for that? Where's that liquidity going to come from?
It's actually, there are almost $8 billion in the central bank, which are the, the legal reserve requirement money. These belong to the depositors. And then the rest of it, it's probably 18 billion or whatever, will be shared between the banking sector and the central bank. And the central bank will be, supported by the treasury, by the state. So, I mean, it will be over 4 years. And I'm sure, you see, if we start this process and the growth and all that, it's not impossible to find all the money necessary to do that.
Is there a scenario in which you would consider borrowing against the gold reserves of the central bank?
The decision is in Parliament. That's why I said the final decision maker is the Parliament.
But you wouldn't be opposed to that happening?
It's not a matter of whatever they decide to help solving the problem, we will, of course, go along,
Do you think that is a scenario that's likely?
At the moment, I mean, from what we hear, there's a lot of opposition to the idea. But let's see how the debate goes on and how... You see, I think, the first impression, I mean, it's been only a week since the law was sent. And you see, the first impression, people, even before reading the law, see, every person in Lebanon, every company is looking at what does this law do for me, you see. But there's a lot of, I mean, you see, all of us have really to realize there's no perfect solution. Nobody is going to get whole, you see. Nobody is going to get everything he wants. Neither the banks, nor the depositors, nor the central bank, neither the state. So we all have to really realize that there has been a huge crisis, and we need to resolve that crisis, find solutions for it, to really put Lebanon back on track, to become a viable state. We first of all, we are in a cash economy, and we are under pressure to get out of it. What do you do with the cash? You need to have banks to move the cash to. These should be viable banks. You know, at the moment, if you have a deposit in a bank, let's say you brought now $1 million from abroad, in which bank would you go? How do you know which bank is okay? So that's why we need to audit all the banks. That's the law stipulates.
Tell me this about that auditing specifically. When we talk about cash flow and transactions going in and out, this draft law suggests that the banks audit themselves, that they self-audit?
No, there will be...
There will be international auditors?
Of course, international auditors according to international rules.
Yeah.
So it's all the AQRs, asset quality review, will be done by international... It's in the law.
Yeah. Tell me about accountability, because the last time we spoke was several months ago, last year, and we talked about holding people accountable, whether they be government officials who were involved in this, whether they be bank officials. Where is that today?
You see, this law looks at behavior.
Okay.
What did you do? What did you, as a chairman of a bank, as a manager of a bank, as a bank, what did you do? So, but actually, accountability is done by making you pay a penalty if you have transferred money or whatever. Accountability, as people would like to see it, people put in jail and so on and so forth. This is not a law done on that basis.
Why not?
That has to be done by the judicial, because there are laws, other laws that could be...
So you aren't going to do it in finance?
One of the articles says that they are penalized at 30% of whatever they have transferred.
Yeah.
And then we say, but that doesn't stop the judiciary doing its business.
Do you think there will be arrests?
I mean, the judiciary, we have a new, I mean, the ex-central bank governor was arrested and jailed for almost a year, and he's still not able to travel, and he has a big deposit of $14 million as a guarantee. So what the judiciary does, and actually the judiciary is acting at the moment, you know, it's not you know, waiting for this law. They are doing whatever they need to do.
And Finance Minister, at what point do you think that they'll begin those audits of the banks?
Well, we have to wait for the law to be passed in Parliament and signed by the President. Once it becomes law, at the moment it's still a, you know, in process of becoming a law. Once it becomes a law, then in the first month, the central bank will have to start an audit of all the accounts and what happened and all that, and the assets they have, and what's the gap.
Yes.
What's the gap, actually? Then, also in parallel, the banks have to be started. They will begin to be audited.
Right. And this is an international audit. This is a separate audit.
AQR, yeah. So that we know what's the state of their capitals, what has happened to, you know, during these past 6 years.
Right.
And the third is starting to look at the anomalies of the deposits in banks. There's a few, you know, items that are considered anomalies, like, for example, transfers in before the, you know,
the collapse,
for those bankers, and also transfers when other people couldn't transfer because of specific favorable, you know,
rates and conditions,
conditions to others, and also the clawing back of very high interest rates after 2016, the financial engineering issue. And such things, you see. So, so the sequencing is as such. Then we say, how do you treat every case? And then we say, how do you return the money?
So we're basically, would you say, years away from holding people accountable?
It's not a matter of years. I mean, once the auditing starts, I mean, it could happen in a few months, in 1 year.
And just so that we're clear when we talk about the audits, this isn't going to be a situation where, under this new law, banks will be able to look at irregular deposits themselves, right? I mean, banks won't be self-auditing.
No, they have to get an international auditor agreed by the central bank to be audited according to international rules.
Yes.
So the AQRs have to be done on international basis. So at that time, you know, first of all, you decide what's the gap in the central bank, and then what's the situation in every bank, what capital they still have,
Yeah.
are they adequately capitalized to stay in the market?
Yeah.
If there's a shortage, they have to raise their capital. So you want to make sure that the banking system is going to be working in the country, is ready and well capitalized. And then you go to dealing with the deposits, with the anomalies in the deposits, as I explained.
Tell me this. Back in 2020, when this first was mooted, there was a conversation that there would be as much as $500,000 returned to depositors.
That was in 2020.
No possibility of that today?
Of course not. I mean, because a lot of things changed since then. But even then, when we speak about 500,000, it wasn't actually really the case, because at that time there was an idea of, canceling big depositors, and so it's gone. What we are dealing with is, at the moment, what's the situation and what can we do? And this is the proposed solution. That it might not be perfect. It's open to discussion. If anybody has a better idea, we're open to discussion with them.
How can you trust a banking system until people are held accountable?
Well, you see, this experience happened everywhere. I mean, in Greece it happened, everywhere in Cyprus. By time, as you really do the audits and have the system working again, people will start going slowly back. It took, I think...
Well, Greece is coming back, so you see Lebanon, like Greece, coming back.
It took 3 years in Greece for people to start really trusting to leave money in the bank. First year, anytime you get a payment, let's say at the moment, if we say we're giving you $2,000 a month, at the moment, $1,000, they go take it cash immediately, keep it at home. In the new law, you cannot do that. You have to use a debit card or a transfer or a check or for some cash at the ATM machine. So we are trying to make people start having to keep the relationship with the bank, but after, auditing the banks and having them recapitalize and be, adopting all the international standards, the Basel III and all that.
Yeah. Tell me this. There's been some talk about increasing the Lebanese pound, the numbers of the Lebanese pound in terms of adding zeros. Is that really a good idea?
At the moment, it's not being considered. In the future, we'll see.
Yeah.
But at the moment, the good thing is we have stability. You see, what's helping this stability is the fiscal
management. But adding more zeros, won't that add to the confusion? It's
already there. People have gotten used to it. So you don't want to disturb the situation without really, having started to find solutions for the banks and all that. At the moment, unfortunately, a big part of the economy is dollarized.
Yeah. Tell me this. How involved was Morgan Ortagus in these conversations?
Morgan, she came the beginning of the year, but she hasn't been coming to Beirut recently. There hasn't been any discussion.
This financial law was not part of her portfolio?
At the moment, no. She's not involved as such. No.
Yeah, but you haven't received any directives or
not
suggestions?
Really. You see, we have been mainly talking to the IMF, and we have been dealing with the World Bank. And the IMF, is an international organization. So, and what we are doing, actually, many people wonder, why are we talking to IMF? We are doing things for the sake of Lebanon, not for the sake of any international organization.
Do you believe we'll ever get to an IMF deal for Lebanon? Is that a realistic?
It's not my decision alone. It's the country's decision.
Yeah.
You see, we could, as a government, decide on something, and let's say the parliament opposes it. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
So Lebanon needs to get into an agreement. As I said, it's like going to a doctor, and he asks you to lose weight. He advises you to lose weight and stop smoking and exercise. Now, who's going to benefit from implementing these things? The IMF, the doctor, or you, the patient?
Yeah.
We are at the moment the patient, and we need to really change the situation we are in.
The President of the United States has a very short attention span. and the midterms could be brutal. So that means your window of opportunity with this administration perhaps is closing. So there's a time limit of how much support you're going to get from the U.S. And so when you see a country like Syria moving very, very rapidly, is there a worry that you're not going to be able to get as much out of this as you can as quickly as possible?
We are doing our best on all levels, whether in reforms, whether in, the army taking over in the south of Litani area. I think on Thursday we're going to have a presentation by the by the commander of the army. We have been having, presentations for. I'm very impressed with what they have done. They show us videos, they show us pictures, they explain what's happening. So I think on that front, we are pushing forward as much as we can, and that's why passing all these laws were important messages that we are taking things seriously, that we are really working hard to move forward.
Minister, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me on the record.
Let's say at the end, you see, we are not claiming success. We are claiming seriousness about what we are doing. And I hope that we can succeed in the efforts we are doing to really move Lebanon forward.
Your Excellency, thank you.